Today, what I'd like to talk about is the third plenum, which wrapped up as of last Thursday. What I'd like to cover first is the context. If you go back to which was done under Deng Xiaoping, that's really where he created the whole reform and opening up movement that drove the economy of China. So expectations were high. If you look at the output of the third plenum, it's largely a stay the course story that reinforced a couple of very specific needs on the part of what China needed to do going forward, which, under the heading of stay the course, was largely the need for more discipline to make sure that what was planned was delivered on. So if you look at the US, we started with very strong tariffs against China and then increasing sanctions, especially with respect to high technology. So if you take the US with its anti-China rhetoric today, you've got pretty strong headwinds. The plenary focused very much, and understandably so, on China's core strength in advanced technologies and high value-added manufacturing, where China has made great progress. But if you rely solely on that, given the headwinds that you have coming out of the US and Europe, leaves you in a pretty precarious position. I've spent a lot of time with senior executives in the US. They understand China far better than the US government does. They also recognize that China, in many areas, is a cutting edge country in terms of manufacturing. Nobody in the world is close to China in terms of manufacturing skills on high value added products and services. So there needs to be a way of creating opportunities for US multinationals who want to get access to China. And what US companies are basically saying is, we are under enormous pressure from our government not to do business with China. So the only way you're going to overcome that barrier is by creating real deals where senior people in the Chinese government sit down with very strong and credible multinationals in the US and say, we're going to work out a deal. And once you have US corporations who see that well-known companies in the US are able to close deals with China, that's going to incent an awful lot of those companies to start investing in China. And that could be a key source of economic lift. So I'll close by saying that the good news for China is China doesn't depend on anyone outside of itself to be able to do these things. China has great natural strengths to build on. So you have first of all, the fact that China is a united country. So you have 92% of the Chinese are Han Chinese. They are raised with Confucian values. Confucian values are collectivism, not individualism. It focuses on hard work and education. All of those things lead to a very high work ethic in China. So it's a huge advantage for China. So the fact that the people are united, that they're hardworking, and that you've got a population of 1.4 billion people, therefore it's an enormous consumer market, means that China has everything it needs to be able to make progress on these dimensions. And so, I'll end on that optimistic note, but the need for real concrete initiatives going forward to lend credibility to the high level thoughts in the third plenary are what's required.